I'm back again now with another video for you, going through some of the poses that we're using in our Yoga for Office Workers class for June. So hopefully you've been enjoying the last lot of classes or last lot of routines. One of the ones we're going to go through today is working on our hips and to the lower back a little bit. Another's going down the hamstrings. Another's trying to open up through the shoulders and into the upper back. So hopefully something that's going to be working for you there. We're going to come onto our back for our first pose. And you're going to cross your right leg over left. You want your knees to be as close together as possible. You're going to take your arms out wide and just let the knees roll over to one side. So what we're trying to do is get a stretch all the way down the outside of this leg into the right hip and into the lower back as well, maybe on that right hand side. What we want to make sure we do though is keep our opposite shoulder down. So when we're twisting to the left, you keep your shoulder down on the right hand side. We're going to take your left hand, place it on the right knee, and just let it rest there. You can take a couple of deep breaths there. Just with each deep breath, maybe the knees drop a little further. All the time making sure that this right shoulder is staying in contact with the floor. If it helps, you can turn your gaze over to the right hand side as well. I just encourage you to keep the shoulder down. Fantastic. Okay, so we're going to come out of that one now. To come out of it, just release the hand from the knee, push the hand into the floor, and that will help you come back up to centre, and you can uncross the legs. And of course you guys would go on to the other side now to even all of that out. Next one we're going to work on is trying to lengthen down the back of the legs, and again give us a little bit of a stretch in the lower back as well. We're going to take our arms up high, fold forwards. We've got the legs as long as possible and the toes are lifted up to the ceiling. So this might be enough for you. We want the back to stay nice and straight. We're not letting the head drop in this time. Keep the back real long. So we're keeping as much length down. We call it our posterior chain as we can. We're then going to take your right hand, hold on to the left foot. Left hand can come to the left hip. And we're going to lift that leg up high. So you want to make sure you get a really good bind with that foot. If it helps, you can use a belt or something, pop it around the foot or a towel and just hold on to that with the right hand instead. We're going to get up nice and tall and open out the body. So you're looking over to the left hand side. Your left hand is reaching to the wall behind you. And you're looking over that left hand if you can. All the time we're hopefully looking like we're staying quite tall. We're not letting the body collapse. We're up nice and high. Reaching back. When we're doing this, just try and concentrate that the toes are still being drawn up to the shin. Temptation might be to let them point. That takes the stretch away from the back of the leg, so try and keep the toes lifted. I'm just going to hold that here now for another moment. And relax. Okay, so again, you go on to the other side. But we're now going to come up into our final pose I'll show you from this month's routine. We're going to have the knees underneath the hips, directly underneath the hips. The feet can point behind you. You're going to take the hands out in front. So what we're going to try to do is sink the chest down towards the floor. We don't want the knees or the hips to move anywhere whilst we lower now. You still want those thighs to be vertical, 90 degrees to the floor. And we're lowering the chest down to the floor. Try not to let the head rest. If it does get to the floor, walk the hands a little further away. Still keeping the hips above the knees. If you find that it pinches a little bit in the shoulders, just take the hands out a little bit wider. And then when you're ready, we're walking back. Okay, so there you have 3 poses from our June Yoga for Office Workers routine. And if you want to know anything more about any of the routines that we run, then get in contact. Thanks a lot.